Test one, two. Hey. Welcome back to another Pushing Film live stream. I'm your host, Hashem, and thanks for joining me today. This one's about 30,000 subscribers on the channel, which was just hit about a week ago. And also just a little bit of an update on what's been happening lately, what I've picked up in the recent month or so, and what is coming to the channel. So thanks again for joining, and just while I wait for the live stream to populate a little bit, in case you are watching this here live right now, let me know what you've been up to, how are you going, what has been your favorite film lately and why. That's something I have been thinking about. We kind of change our favorites. I know at least for me, I kind of go through phases of shooting different films or cameras or lenses, and I'm just curious what your favorite film is at the moment to shoot and why it is that, and I'll chime in with my stupid opinion maybe at some point in the video. So I've got a few things to get through today, but obviously the big one is just to thank everyone who subscribes and watches and supports the channel and constantly comments and gives feedback, and just any of those interactions I find really valuable on the channel and outside of the channel, whether it's on Instagram or the Discord server. And yeah, I'm just hugely grateful. So if you're one of those people, or even if you're new, thanks for joining, for being part of this little community that I'm trying to cultivate on the channel. All right, so looks like we've got a good connection, got a few viewers. And yeah, let's jump into the first thing. So with 30,000 subscribers, it's been a pretty big year. So to put it into perspective, the channel hit 20,000 subscribers about this time last year. So almost exactly 1 year ago. It was in late March, just as, you know, the whole pandemic sort of started. And I can show you here on my other screen that I put out this video for 20,000 subscribers on the 22nd of March. And it's amazing to me that it's been just 1 year for a jump of 10,000 subscribers. But during this video, I did talk a little bit about the new direction I was trying to take the channel that year, largely in part to being at home a lot more, having more time to dedicate to the channel, which was a bit of a blessing in disguise. And I just sort of spoke a little bit about where I wanted to take the channel in 2020, which I think was mostly successful.
You know what you think? I've been slowly but surely trying to improve the channel, to post a little bit more often, to just give it a little bit more polish. And I'm always up for any constructive feedback and ideas. So please, guys, if there's something you like about the channel.
So yeah, that's past me talking a little bit about that new direction and some of the videos I started to put out more of in 2020. And in terms of the evolution to that new milestone, it has been largely, I think, due to putting out more content more frequently, which I know that, of course, it's something that's required supposedly for a channel to grow at a faster rate. Not that I ever set out to do that, but again, having that extra time in 2020 allowed me to put more of my time and effort into this channel, which I am passionate about, which is something I enjoy doing, and I find it really fulfilling, especially, like I said, with these interactions I have, the networking opportunities, which I will touch more on soon. But if you look at the past year on the channel, there has been more content in general, and more content related to things like theory and talking about photo books, which was in part due to doing more live streams. Not as many vlogs, because obviously without the ability to travel, there's only been a few vlogs. One of them was a street photography vlog when things opened up. There was one in the middle of the year when there was a break in lockdowns, and the Tasmania one most recently. But as you can see there's been a lot of stuff related to books, to having conversations with other creatives, methodology, certain film reviews. Doing these live streams has been a big part of what I think has changed on the channel with 2020. So yeah, that's been the last year. So feel free, like I said that 1 year ago, now 1 year ago today almost, please let me know your thoughts, because that was really valuable last year when people gave me their opinions and thoughts on how the channel was changing and growing going forward from then. And as you can see, I started doing these live streams about, this time last year with the pandemic setting in, and it's grown a lot. I think I struggled with the live streams initially. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep doing it, but lately I'm really starting to find my stride in it. And look at this today, 2 live streams 2 days in a row. So that's that's a new one for me as well. So thank you again to everyone for supporting the channel. And it has been a big year of growth, and I hope for it to be just as big going forward into 2021 and forward. So as you can kind of see there has been less vlogs, as I mentioned. There have been more live streams though, and also probably less interviews. I know that was something I was really looking forward to doing. I spoke about really enjoying doing the interviews, like the one with M. Jensen and JM Tabera. You can see here was the last one 9 months ago. I know it's been a while, but again, largely due to the whole lockdown situation, I haven't done any interviews since then, but I do want to bring them back now that things are starting to open up here again. I do have a couple, at least one planned that I want to do in terms of that documentary style interview series that I want to start bringing back to the channel. In lieu of those missing interviews, I have done a few online conversations. As you can kind of see in here, I've done maybe the one with Jason from Grainy Days, with Jay Rose, with Robin, somewhere over here. So yeah, there's been a few at least online conversations, one with Karen Mayoka from over in Germany. So yeah, I've at least tried to do that. I want to do more of those as well. I find it really nice to network with other YouTube creatives, photographers, whoever it might be, and I also plan to keep doing those moving forward. So that's hopefully coming back, as well as the interviews. Meetups are also starting to come back, and I have been organizing meetups through Discord lately. So if you're not aware, if you're new to the channel, or you're relatively new, you haven't heard me talk about it, I started a Discord server a few months ago at least now. It's probably been half a year, and the Discord server has been steadily growing. If you're not familiar with Discord, it looks like this, like what you're seeing on the screen here. And the way I've organized the Pushing Film server is that it has multiple sections, like the lobby, what I've called a film and gas section, photo dump, which I'm in right now. People can just dump their photos, and there's also a photo feedback channel where you can actually get some kind of constructive feedback on your photos, your composition. I find this is really useful if you're trying to grow in terms of your photographic skill, which is a step further than what you might get on Instagram, whereby you might just get a like and people move on and not really give too much feedback on the photography. So that's one of the reasons I want to start this server altogether. But there are also other sections, even for digital photography. I've got a channel there. And as I mentioned with the meetups, I've been organizing them through this server. So the last meetup was about a week ago, and that was organized here through the Discord server. And what I'd like to talk about now in relation to that last meetup is it was done here in Melbourne. It was sort of short notice, but I do want to keep doing meetups maybe on a larger scale. Before 2020, I started to really put effort into making meetups and workshops. That kind of took a big back burner since then. And the meetups that have happened since then have been less organized, because it's very hard to organize something months ahead of time, and let alone do something where it's taking tickets, for example, then to only go into a lockdown or have things cancel or people not to be able to show up due to the current world situation. So these sort of impromptu short notice meetups have been working well, and I think they might be the way for at least a little while going forward. But at least if you're here in Melbourne, I think it's nice to actually meet some of you guys, and hopefully going forward there might be more meetups in interstate areas, or who knows, maybe one day worldwide if I ever get to travel overseas again. All right, so on the last meetup, what I want to mention, and it's going to tie into the next part of this live stream and video update that I'm doing right now, is just a little bit of a show and tell of what I have picked up lately, what I have to sort of show in terms of, film photography. And before I do that, just looking at the live chat, I've got Street Photography with Dante, hype in the chat for 30K, nice. And Spirit World, congrats, Hashem, thank you very much. So the first thing on the show and tell, which you might have already seen in the thumbnail of the video, is I've got a few rolls of medium format film, all of which are expired rolls. I'll try and see if the camera focuses on these. I've got some Ektachrome E100 VS. That's the VS variant of Ektachrome 100, so that's expired 2013. I've got a roll of Orwo NP20, which is an 80 ISO film, and some Agfa Color 50, which is a color negative 50 speed film. Now, all three of these rolls were gifted to me by a person I met during the last meetup. He came down to Melbourne from Cairns. His name is Cheyenne Morrison, and he was actually kind enough to give me all three of these rolls of film, which I'm really looking forward to using. I'm still not sure what kind of specialized purpose I'll find to use each of these roles. But again, very thankful to Cheyenne for gifting me these roles. And he is actually one of the contributing writers for the website Casual Photophile, which I have mentioned before when referring to their article on the Zeiss Sonar versus the Planner. And I do read their articles every now and then. I only found out after chatting online with Cheyenne that he writes articles for that website. So if you're not already familiar with Casual Photophile, it's a great website with a lot of articles, a lot of contributing writers writing articles about whether it's film specific gear or not. There are a lot of film related articles on there. And Cheyenne Morrison is one of the contributing writers, with this being one of his articles here that I'm showing on the screen. He has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to lenses and gear, especially some of the older stuff and the classic, East European lenses, and hugely knowledgeable, really well written articles, a lot of effort he puts into them. And I'm a big fan of what he does on the Casual Photophile website. So do feel free to check out his work, which I have linked in the description of this video. And Rye Gordon in the chat giving another congrats. Thanks heaps, Rye. Really appreciate it. All right. So next on the list, something a little bit weird, a little bit different. And this is actually a lens. It's called the Fun Leader Cap Lens. It's an 18mm f8. So it's always fixed as f8 lens for the Leica M mount. Now, this lens was sent to me by the guys at Fun Leader. Fun Leader is a small company, I believe, based out of China, that reached out to me, asked me if I'd be interested in trying out this lens, similar to what happened with 7 Artisans. Now, this was actually done through a friend of mine. He kind of linked me up with someone, and I said I might be interested in trying the lens out, maybe for an article. I don't know if I'll do a video, I said to them, but I could do something like an article for my blog, which I've been trying to put more effort into lately. So yeah, what this lens is, I'll show you a little bit. It's a pretty much like a lens cap shaped and sized lens. It's almost as small as a lens cap. So that's it on the Leica MA there. It's a tiny little wide angle lens that's fixed to f8 that you can use at a few different focal lengths. So if you look at it there, it's tiny. It's always at f8, but it has 4 different focal lengths that you can use. It's not coupled to the rangefinder, so it's a zone focus lens, which isn't as bad on a wide angle lens like this. So that's the Fun Leader 18mm cap lens. And I have actually used it, I have tested it, and I will give you a little bit of a sneak preview on some of the shots I've gotten out of it. Before that, I'll just sort of show you the website. So you can see here, it's by Fun Leader. I'll be doing a written blog article review on this lens once I've finished taking enough shots. It costs about 230 Australian dollars, maybe about 180 US. And that's actually also on a Leica MA there on that sample. But yeah, it works on a Leica Digital M. Supposedly this lens is improved upon the previous versions of it. And from my testing, it's actually not too bad. So let's take a look at Lightroom, where I've got a few samples here. So that's just a shot of the box it comes in. That's the MA with the 7 Artisans lens on it. But here's a sample photo on Kodak Portra 400. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by this lens when I got some of the shots back, including this one. Obviously, with these lens cap style lenses, from most of what I've seen, they do have a heavy vignetting, as this one does. But where it is actually in focus, which was, range or zone focus to about 1.5 meters away, I'm actually quite close to this guy. It is quite sharp. Color's good, contrast is good. So it is more than usable if you are after an 18, like a very ultra wide, would I call it ultra wide? I guess so. An ultra wide lens that you probably won't use too often. So if you are using it for fun, maybe thus the name Fun Leader. I'm not sure if that was their thinking behind it. It is just a fun little lens to use if you're not too reliant on having sharp corners, for example. And here's another sample on black and white on HP5. Again, the mid frame has enough sharpness in it to really be able to use the shots. I don't know about printing them big unless you don't mind that vignettes and some of the softness in the corners, but I'll give a more fleshed out review when I finish my article. So if you are interested in that, I will be putting that on my blog, which is available, also linked in the description of this video. And that's available on my website, which is xframe.com/blog. And I have been slowly trying to put more effort into the blog. I find that it's a good way to complement some of the content on the channel. So if you don't mind reading, check out the blog. I will be putting out more articles going forward, including this review on the cap lens and other sort of peculiar topics that don't quite fit into the channel or that complement videos on the channel, such as you can see here my Contax TVS review. I found there were already plenty of reviews on the YouTube, so I don't know if I'll do a video version of that, but I did a written version, an article to complement my Kodak Vision stuff on the channel, one to complement my scanning with borders, something about an interview I did, the essential film holder, Burger Pancro. So yeah, there's a few reviews on there and articles and sort of just discussion-based articles that you can check out if you're interested in that. There is a link in the description. All right, so on to the next thing I have to show, and it wouldn't surprise many of you that I went ahead and bought this, but it's a bulk roll of Kodak Vision 500T acquired from Ultrafine Online, and they label it Motipix Kodak 5219 Vision 3 500T. So it's a 100-foot roll, which is enough to load up about 18 or 19 35mm rolls with about 36 or so shots each. So yeah, I went and just bought myself for all of that. My bulk loader is empty at the moment. I have bulk loaded Vision film before. That was 250D last time. But as you may have seen on the channel, I have been really liking the 500T and the night stuff and the cinema film in general. So if you missed any of those videos, going back to the channel here, you can kind of see I've got you know, the Cine Still 800T alternatives, where I spoke a lot about that. So you can check that out if you're interested in 500T as a film and the differences between processing it in ECN2 and C41. If you're curious, I generally process everything in C41 unless I'm having it done elsewhere. And I've really loved the results every single time with C41. Another video here where I shot 500T in the city. And yeah, I have done a fair bit of content, so I went ahead and bought myself a bulk roll of the film. And speaking of processing, I will be processing in C41 still going forward. However, I did recently buy the Tetanol C41 kit. I've only ever used the Unicolor kit up until now, but I am trying out the Tetanol kit because I went out to buy more C41 chemicals. My last batch has gone bad, so I could only find the Tetanol kit at the time. I thought it'd be a good chance to give it a try. It's a liquid setup rather than powder, which is, I guess, a little bit less hassle to mix up. And yeah, I haven't actually needed to open it yet. Maybe when I start shooting some of that cinema film, I will be processing some color film at home, and I'll maybe give my thoughts on any differences between the Tetanol kit and the Unicolor kit. I really doubt there'd be much difference, but maybe just in practicality. All right, behind each film grain in the chat, congrats on the 30K. Thanks, Lang, good to have you here. That Contax is one cool looking camera and love my version of that as well. Oh yeah, the Contax in the Casual Photophile website. Yep. Jackie, hello and congrats. Thank you. Thanks for joining. All right, guys, so the next thing I wanted to share that I had in my recent pickups was the Ilford Multigrade version 5 paper. So this is the latest version. I've been seeing a lot of videos and stuff being made about Ilford's latest paper. One notable video I saw was by Lena Besanova, if I'm saying that right, where she did a comprehensive test of the new upgraded multigrade RC paper version 5. And in her tests and other tests, everyone has sort of concluded that it is improved upon the previous version with better contrast and control and using contrast filters. I know I haven't done any darkroom content specifically on the channel, but I will hopefully be doing something soon. And I have not been darkroom printing as much ever since moving into this place, to be honest, because of the difficulty of getting everything in and out of the bathroom. But I've got some more news on that later in the video. But yeah, I'll hopefully get back in the darkroom soon, make some prints, and share my thoughts in one way or another on this new Ilford paper. So that's pretty much everything that was in the thumbnail. Most of what I wanted to update you guys on in terms of recent pickups. Again, It's been a great year in terms of the direction the channel's been taking. I've been really happy with the way everything's been growing, the increased amount of networking especially. And yeah, I really look forward to what's coming on. So again, guys, feel free to let me know your thoughts. What have you been up to lately? Where are you watching from? What has been your favorite film to shoot at the moment and why? I'm always interested to hear these things. And before that, I had a list here just to make sure I didn't lose track too much. And just Iron Talon in the comments. Congrats on 30K. Have you tried ultrafine black and white films? The picture I sent on Discord with the Nikon F. Oh, that was you in the Discord server. No, I haven't actually tried it. But it's good that you brought that up actually, because I want to actually share with everyone watching. Let me just bring it up. More about ultrafine, because with that roll of the Kodak Vision 500T stock that I've just mentioned, that was purchased through, like I said, ultrafine online. And if anyone doesn't know about them, it's a great website for buying not only bulk load film, but even canisters. And as Iron in the comments just mentioned, they do also have the black and white films, including the Extreme 100, Extreme 400, and some others. I didn't purchase directly through the website because I think the shipping didn't work out very good to Australia, but I actually got it through their eBay store. So in case you're here in Australia as well, it might be worth checking their eBay store, which factors in the shipping at a better rate. So I bought the film from the eBay store, in case that's any use to anyone. But no, I haven't actually tried their black and white films. I know that they're great value. So, you know, if you ever want to bulk buy black and white film and you don't want to shell out for HP5, Ultrafine 400 might be a good way to go. And Jackie asking, do you have any upcoming projects coming? Currently, I just shot my first 2 rolls of Acros 2. I actually quite like it, and I am pleasantly surprised. Nice. I do have some projects coming up, actually, and that's the next thing I was going to touch on. But on Acros 2, I still haven't tried that myself. I actually still have a couple of rolls of the Acros 1 in the fridge and plan to use them up. The only thing about Acros 2 I've found is the price has gone up a lot. I find it hard to justify I think it's 20 plus Australian dollars per roll, which to me, it's a little bit much. I don't love Acros enough. I think it's a great film, but I do still have some rolls of the old stuff. And maybe when that runs out, I'll give out the new one a try. Have I tried Seagull 100? No, I haven't. I think I had a roll, but it was very expired, and I sacrificed it to use as a test roll. So I didn't actually use it. And Jackie, I have been trying to get ultrafine from them. Everything they have has been out of stock since last March. Okay, yeah, might be a shortage then. So AGY, Fomapan 100 in homemade Perceptol and Portra 160 for color. Oh, nice combo. So I guess you probably like fine grain stuff, or you've been onto that fine grain recently, which is similar to me. I do like my slower speed films like Ektar 100 and Pan F50 and stuff like that. And Moja, congrats on the 30K. I like Ilford HP5 because it has nice contrast and detail, for sure. Definitely agree with you there. Fomapan 100 from Walkins in Victoria is $8. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think I've bought Fomapan 100 before, or Kentmere 100, or both of them, either through Walkins or Decisive Moment. So we've got some pretty good deals here. When I started using their bulk rolls, it was only 35 US. It was great. Wow, that's pretty cheap. They are up to $50 now, which I guess is still good. And Extreme 400 has been out of stock forever. So trying Finesse 400 and Extreme 400. Okay, so it sounds like they have a couple of different variants of films available at Ultrafine. So yeah, anyone who isn't aware of them, they're worth checking out. But what I did want to touch on next was something someone mentioned in the comments, is working on my next project, which is a zine. These are a pile of prints I have. There's actually way more 6x4 prints, which is how I've been trying to edit this zine I'm working on, which is sort of an abstract street photography style of zine. I've mentioned this before. I've been procrastinating on it. It's been delayed, and I don't really have an excuse, so I'm not really going to give one, but I do still plan to release it. It is still happening. I'm still working on it very, very slowly. I'm just at the point where it's all the digital you know, compiling and InDesign, something I'm not too good at. I'm not enjoying as much as the actual process of shooting and editing down the selections, but I still have a mock-up copy of the zine, and there have been more photos since that mock-up copy. I'm still going through them. I'm starting to compile it in InDesign. So to anyone last year who I mentioned that I wanted to have it out by the end of the year, that obviously didn't happen, but I do want to have it out by some time in the next month or two. So I'm going to really get cracking on that. It might be a little bit difficult because of an upcoming move that I have, but that is coming soon. And I'm already actually starting to think about my next zine after that, which will be a larger sized one. So the one that I just mentioned will be A5 size, which is about the size of something like this notebook. So that's about A5, a little bit bigger than that sample book I just showed. But the one after that will be a more traditional street photography zine, and that will be closer to A4 size. So yeah, that's what I'm currently working on in terms of photographic projects. Yeah, street photography zines, and one of which I have up on my website in the store as a pre-order. That's the one I just mentioned I'm working on. It's called Sun-Dried Strip. And yeah, my partner Sarah is going to be designing the cover for that. I'm really looking forward to how it's coming together. It's going to be quite interesting and new for me. So if you are interested in that, feel free to check it out or ask me any questions about it. Did you get the copy of Small Town by Martin Miskulnig? See, I'm not sure how to pronounce his surname, but I did. And I think it was you that recommended it to me. And you can kind of see it just behind me on the shelf there, that blue book. I did end up getting a copy. I got the last copy at a local store. It was half price because it was a display copy. It had a little bit of wear on the jacket, but I really liked it, to be honest. It's great. I really like the essay by Tim Winton. It's a nice book. I plan to hopefully talk a little bit more about it on the channel, and some of my thoughts on that book and some other Australian photography. So yeah, thanks for that recommendation. I did end up picking it up, and I quite like it. It's kind of satirical, I think. I really like his point of view on that small town Australiana landscape, and especially, you know, in Tim Winton's essay. I did enjoy that perspective. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I think this little live stream and update has gone on pretty long. I appreciate it if you've been watching live and you've been following along. And if you have watched this post stream, I also appreciate you sticking it out through this whole thing if you did. And yeah, I hope to put out those zines soon. I know I've been procrastinating on it, but yeah, they are coming. And look forward to maybe some content on at least some of this film, this expired film that Cheyenne gifted me that I mentioned earlier in the video, as well as all that other stuff I mentioned too. So before I tie things up, feel free if you have any other comments or questions or thoughts. Thank you again for everyone's support. And like I've mentioned before, I love seeing a lot of these familiar usernames and you know, people in the chats, or whether it's on there or Instagram or in the Discord group. Feel free to join the Discord server if you're interested. I do have a link to that in the description. It has been growing. There's 500 plus users on Discord now, which to me is great. I didn't really know how that would go, but I think it's a great little community in its own right over there, and it does link up well with the community here on YouTube. All right, guys, I think that's about it. Yeah, unless I'm forgetting something, I'll check my little list. No, that should be it. 30,000 subscribers, 1 year apart from 20K. So that's huge. And who knows where it's going to be 1 year from now. I really look forward to the next year and beyond, and where this channel is going. And thank you once again and one last time for all your continued support. I hope anyone watching enjoys the rest of their day, and I'll chat to you soon. All right, guys, catch you later.